Alright, what's up everyone? Reset. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am CJ, and this is my first video of 2025. And this is like my first video ever to intentionally create a YouTube channel. And so, first and foremost, I would like to say Happy New Year. And man, let me just say this. This is the first day of 2025. And something that I wanted to do is get out of my comfort zone. And this is one of them. It's creating my own YouTube channel. Because I will say that I was inspired by other YouTube channels. I forgot his name, Dante something. I forgot the last name, but I saw his video, and he was encouraging people to start creating content because YouTube has opened itself up for small creators to use their platform, use the platform of YouTube, and be discoverable. And obviously, by the grace of God, become monetized. And hey, if I'm not opposed to try to make a living from YouTube, you know, somewhat passive income, you know what I mean? But anyway, what is my intent of creating my channel? Well, first and foremost, I have my other ambitions, which is obviously I would love to make a living. And two, I hope that those who view my channel, it would either be served of inspiration, advice, ideas, and even tricks and tips if we are in the same field. And so, and my field is that, again, my name is CJ. Well, let me just say this. I'm unemployed right now as I speak and made this video. I'll talk about that in a bit. But I actually have a clothing brand, a faith-based clothing brand. And you can, and it wasn't even planning on putting a little plug, right? But you can find me on Instagram, IDD Clothing. We'll talk about that on another channel. But anyway, 2025, getting out of your comfort zone. I think these are my three things that I wanted to focus on this year: decide, consistency, and my last word is exponential. So, and there's a reason why I say this thing, because once we decide what we want to do and what we believe, and we do those things, and we do it consistently, I think the Lord can bless us abundantly or exponentially. Because when the Bible talks about He wanted us to multiply, He wanted to multiply the. I know it's about multiplying, the seed, Adam and Eve, the population of Earth, but there's a principle in there, and I believe is that God has created us to be creative, and creativity is in our DNA. I believe it. My words believe it. I believe it logically, but sometimes internally, I'd be doubting myself. And this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a transparent, raw version of me to the person that is viewing this YouTube channel. It's kind of, it is a little bit uncomfortable, right? Because I'm basically showing my life to the world publicly. And so, but anyway, my point is that those are my three words that I would love to focus. My goal is to focus on those three. That's the theme for this year for me, at least. A little bit about me, again, is yes, I do have a clothing brand. And to give a little bit of context of why I hit the record button finally. Been meaning to have my own podcast, all that. Talked up a huge dream to a few of my friends. And I just never executed it. I mean, there's a couple things I executed. So I do have a few t-shirt presses here in my garage. Bunch of blanks here. I make my clothing brand. Has it exploded crazily, or am I making some moves with it? Yes, I have. Does it need a little bit of coaching, a lot of adjustments? For sure. There's a lot of growth and learnings, and lessons to learn to manage and do my business. But also wanted to, one, take the opportunity that YouTube is giving me, which is a platform to show my creativity and a platform to just basically I mean, yeah, I guess I just said it, right? Creativity, but just to show the insight of what I do, and in hopes that it can help someone else too that watches this video. So anyway, to give more context, I was working up until October 14th. I got fired from a B2B job selling copiers and printers. It sucked. It sucked because it just hurts your ego. Like, what? Nah, you don't fire me. I fire you. But in actuality, before, I was glad that I got fired, because even though it's kind of bites the pride or the ego or whatever you want to call it, dignity, I don't know. I think it is also okay to get fired versus volunteering to leave a job. So don't be tricked by that. Just my 2 cents. Because if you volunteer to leave, you won't be compensated. You won't get unemployment. Versus if you get fired, they're gonna have to help you out and cover for you for the time of your unemployment. And so, but again, to give some context here, when I got fired, of course I was stressed out and scrambling, like, dang, what am I gonna do? I need to pay my house, I need to pay rent, I need to pay the car, and I need to figure this out. And a few weeks later, I did find a job. But I wasn't there for too long. I was not there for too long. Eventually, almost 2 weeks in, I said, no, I'm not doing this inside sales, making phone calls. It's not that I can't do it. It was just eating me inside. Like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this my calling? Like, why am I wasting my time? And don't get me wrong, I understand if you're trying to build a dream, you're trying to build your dreams and pursue what you want to do. You still probably need a job and leave it at the right time. And that was not the right time. However, I'm grateful to God that from the months of mid-October all the way till now to December, or it's January now, but the whole month of December, I believe that God has provided enough businesses to take care of the things that need to be take care of for my livelihood. And so I take care of a family, and yeah, it's just it was just kind of crazy because you don't do those things. You gotta keep a job. But I will say this. I have 4 other siblings, and I can say that the 4 of them are quite successful for sure. One's is studying to become a nurse practitioner. One's a respiratory therapist, and the other 2, my oldest brother and my younger sister, they just been in their jobs for a long time. They just can keep a job. And then I look at myself and I'm like, man, I'm jumping here, I'm jumping there, I'm jumping there. No, I'm just kidding. I have jumped plenty of places for sure. And my resume is filled with a lot of sales. I've done door-to-door sales for such a long time. I've done inside sales. I've done B2B sales. And I even invested in myself by buying these mastermind courses that teaches you how to do closing sales, or high-ticket closing mastermind classes. They teach you how to do setting and closing. And I bought 2 programs. um, yeah. Uh, it's probably somewhat of a regret, I guess. I don't know, not really. It was helpful. It was helpful for sure. Um, but it's also based off your work ethic too. So did I put enough to have a good result? Anyway, I look at my siblings and I'm like, dang, I am tempted. You know, you are tempted to be like, what are you doing? No, let's be real, right? We get tempted, we bite into that temptation, and now you have a disbelief and you're doubting yourself, and you feeling discouraged, like that discouragement of like, man, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? And for those you don't know, I'm 34. I just turned 34. I'm not in my 20s anymore, so it is kind of weird being behind a camera, listening to myself talk. Yeah, and speaking of that, I don't want this shot to be canceled, so I'm checking behind. It's still recording good. Yeah, it's easy to look at yourself and be like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you haven't, if you don't stick in this job, you know, you either go to the school, something, you just got to figure it out. I just sucked at school. I just sucked. I mean, I did pass pretty good. And I'm going to self-diagnose myself here too. I feel like I have a certain degree of ADHD, and it's just kind of hard for me to sit behind somewhere. And, yeah, it's easy to just kind of like, you're just tempted to just compare yourself. And they say comparison is a killer of joy. And it's for sure a temptation. And I will say that I am reminded of a Bible story where Peter, not that the context was exactly the same as what I'm saying, but I like the story where Peter, the disciple, you know, they're on a boat, and then they wake up and they see this figure in the ocean, or in the lake, and so they thought it was like some kind of ghost, but they were scared. And Peter was like, if that's you, Jesus, or that's you, Lord, you know, get me to walk to you. And as Peter went on the water, and he's walking on water, and Jesus is standing on there too, and he's walking, but lo and behold, he sees these waves crashing, the storm brewing, the storm and the waves crashing, and he looks around and loses his sight and his focus off of Jesus, and he sinks down, and he's crying out for help, thinking he's gonna die. And as he asked for Jesus to save him, Jesus catches him right away before he can sink in. And I think that's one of the stories, and out of many more for sure, that encourages me to be like, you know, it's easy to compare. It's super easy to compare. Like my cousin, same age as myself, he just bought a house, and I'm like, damn, you know, good for him. That's freaking great. He's worked so hard. And even with him, we worked in the same place too, and I've just jumped around, just a journeyman of these dang jobs, and he stood there. We didn't do the same role, but he stood at his role, and he got promoted, and he's doing it, man. He's taking care of himself. You know, you don't want to be an invalid, bro. God does not call us for us to be weak, and not to be providers. We ought to be providers. But anyway, it's a long story. I mean, that's another story for another time. But I am hopping on here because watching all these scrolling, being a consumer of YouTube, and just, you know how you do it, you know. Well, for me, I'm being a sports fan, you know, you're just watching all the basketball highlights, watching all the funny or cool highlight videos on YouTube Shorts, and I stumbled across the video, and this video inspired me. It inspired me to just hit the button and record, bro. Like, you have everything at hand. I believe we have, to a degree, like, we can make, as long as we can create something, there can be something profitable that can feed into our livelihoods. not in a selfish way, of course. Like, I want to, as you watch this video, I hope that I can give you guys something to chew on too, whether it be tips, advice, regrets or mistakes that I have that you can possibly learn and avoid the same thing. And I'm hoping that this channel will give you something instead of just, yes, I have an intention, and my intent is to, if I could be monetized and make a living off of YouTube, by all means, I'm not going to be opposed to that. So yeah, I do have an intent, but the other half of the intent is to give you something to chew on too. And so whether if it be clothing advice, I would love to give that. Yeah, I have, like I said, I have a heat press, and I'll definitely shoot some content too that covers all that for those who want to learn how to do this stuff too. But for the most part, I am grateful. When I watched these videos, I felt inspired, and I just need to do. And I believe that there's a formula. Then that formula for me right now, I didn't come up with this formula. It's definitely biblical, and it has been shared in certain podcasts that I listen to. And it was talking about how it's identity. Once you know your identity or your purpose and calling, you do, and then you have. It's like you reap what you sow. So, but you can't be. I'm kind of twisting the words here, but you can't do the things. Technically, you can, but success to me is not just monetarily. It's not just money, but I want to successfully walk in my purpose and calling that God has given me, and doing it faithfully. And so that is success to me. It's not just about money. And so I think that when I look at, when I compare myself with my siblings, it's like, so cool. My brother's a nurse, and he felt that was his calling. My other brother's a respiratory therapist, and my other two siblings can stick in their job. And my brother-in-law is just like, oh man, dude, I need to do that. But every time I reflect on myself, I'm like, I'm tired of being on survival mode. But at the same time, like, what the heck do I want to be, or what am I supposed to do in this world to be an impact to society? And my conclusion is that I tried so many things obviously in my experience and in my life experience, and something that I did enjoy so much was making t-shirts, making designs, but obviously there's a science to that too, because it's not always about, oh, I think that's cool, I'm gonna draw this thing and I think it's cool and I'm gonna show out to the world and the world is gonna want it. That's not how it works. You have to have something. It has to be of service. It has to be a solution to someone's problem. And that's why my custom t-shirt side is a little bit like, I get more traction in that, because it is, hey, we are this church or we are this business, and we actually need some t-shirt for this church event or this work t-shirts. And so there's always some kind of solution for that. And I know the brand can do it too. It's just the brand is, I don't know, I find it a little bit more hard, but I have taken some classes to learn a little bit more about it, and also trying to figure out more ways to execute the things that were given to me in that class. But anyway, thankful to YouTube, grateful to YouTube that in actuality YouTube is providing a platform that you don't got to be a nurse anymore these days. You don't got to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever it may be that, high status in roles, titles, jobs, careers, right? YouTube is, as I saw those other channels, and that's the reason why I'm here, is that you're giving yourself a chance to be discoverable. You're giving yourself a chance to be like, as a creative, you can make you can make your creativity a possibility of another income and possibly a livelihood. And so I've always been taught, especially growing up, especially being Filipino, that you know, you got to be in the health field. You got to be in the health field because that makes the most money. I tried that. I tried it. I was in the health field, my certifications for certain things, and I tried to do physical therapy. I just couldn't sit there, bro. But maybe that's just an excuse. I don't know. But whatever it is, I know God has a calling on my life. But it's also up to me if I decide, and it's also up to me to decide and believe that within myself. That if this is what I'm supposed to do, customize t-shirts or my clothing brand, anything has to do with apparel, I got to be willing to accept all the challenges. And thankful that YouTube is allowing the opportunity to showcase your creativity in hopes to be of some kind of service to others, whether it be inspiration, tips, and advice. So what else do I have? I think I'm just at the point in my life where I'm just tired of being on survival mode. I'm gonna give YouTube a chance. I'm gonna give YouTube a shot, and I think even regardless if it doesn't work out per se, there's a level of resilience and research and study that I need to do to become a better content creator too. Because even if I were to record 15 to 20 minute videos on a daily basis and it turns out to be nothing for now, it could turn out to be something later. So whatever it is, I'd rather just try, because if I don't do it, it's gonna be nothing anyway. If I at least try, it gives me a percentage or a chance of it becoming something. So with that being said, I am CJ. Thanks for watching my channel, and this is my first channel, my first episode, I guess, my first recording, and I appreciate you watching this. I hope that you will find this relatable and encouraging. I know I hadn't really shared too much. I just wanted to introduce myself, you know, why I'm starting these videos. It is uncomfortable. It's weird sitting behind my phone and talking to a camera. It is kind of weird. I'm a social person. Like, I need people to be actually in front of me so I'm talking to someone. But no, it's not the case, right? So, but YouTube's giving an opportunity for a lot of us, and here I am. I hope you found this to be relatable again and encouraging for you to do your first episode too. And that's all I have for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And I don't say this often, but like and subscribe. I would highly appreciate that. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.